Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Pamela and I make content on all different things including horticulture, hair, bags, and my life. So if you're interested, don't forget to subscribe. But on today's video I am doing a propagate with me, and it is a how I propagate my Monstera Adansonii. As you can see, I have this lovely beauty right here, and it's pretty much two crazy huge vines that just keeps putting out the beautiful fenestrations and huge leaves. You would have thought that this plant was living outdoors, but it's not. It is living on my east facing window, and it's been happy, it's been thriving. I picked this up, I believe maybe last summer, late summer, midsummer of last year, and I have it on a macrame hanger. So today's video I am going to show you how easy it is to propagate this plant. And again, like I love to do, I love to start my plants off with a few cuttings and then eventually create a full insane thick bushy plant. So that's what I want to do with my Adansonii, because if not, it will just vine and just vine and just vine. I want it to climb too. So if you're interested again in just hearing my care tips, my advice, and showing you how to propagate your Monstera, then keep on watching. Hi, so welcome back. I hope you can see my table. Right now what I have on here are just two propagation stations of, this is just a philodendron micans propagation station, and this one has my pink princess philodendron, my variegated philodendron, my variegated heartleaf philodendron, my pink princess right here, and some pothos and other micans. The reason that I have this here is because I want to use some rooted cuttings of either my pothos or my philodendron to use inside of the jar, this little jar right here. So I'm gonna set these aside for now. Alright, so pretty much to start off, I'm going to examine my plant. I noticed that closer to the bottom I lost a lot of leaves, and this is just human fault. I had construction done in my home and the plants got damaged sadly, so I'm for sure going to have to propagate this. Even though I have new growth happening right here on two different strands, I still need to cut this off. So looking at my plant, can you guys see? Looking at my plant, I definitely want to cut them right here. Make sure you have some sterile shears. I don't remember the last thing that I used to use the scissor to cut. So I'm just using alcohol pad and just wiping the scissor down to make sure I am not transferring any bacteria from whatever else I was doing prior. Alright, so like I mentioned, I want to cut my plant. I'm gonna start with this strand right here. So I do feel like my plant can get a good chop right here. So I'm just gonna use, don't drop your scissors. So here's a node. So what I'm gonna just do is cut right here, right as close to the previous node as possible, and just snip that off. And I'm gonna look at the next branch, and I feel like I don't mind, since there's such a big gap between these two leaves, I don't mind snipping this plant here also close to that plant. So this is what my Adansonii is looking like right now after it's gotten a good haircut. It's beautiful, it looks very thick, and by the time these grow roots for me to refill this pot, this plant will have, of course, just grown even more crazier. So what I'm gonna do is now set this plant aside so we can work on the branches. So now I'm looking at this first strand, the barren strand, and as you can see, I cut right above a node because all of this is just trash. I'm not going to need any of this strand, so that's why I did not mind cutting this plant closer to the previous foliage, previous leaf. So for this plant, what I actually think I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it over here. I'm gonna leave this vine because these are just two good foliages that I don't need to kill. So I'm gonna cut right here, about halfway into this. I'm gonna cut that off. That will be trash. And I'm going to also do that with here. I'm gonna cut this one off. So this is one leaf. And this end can go. I'm going to do the same, and I'm gonna cut. So with this one branch that I've cut, I have 3 new monsteras that I'm gonna let these ends callus over, and making sure that I know where I cut. I'm gonna let these callus over and stick them inside of my water. This is just some room temperature water that I've had just, you know, sitting and waiting. For the next monstera strand, I'm thinking of, actually, let me, like I did with the previous one, just removing all this excess twigs. That will not really be helpful at all. So what I'm gonna do is right here, I'm gonna cut this into one plant. It's gonna be trash. Internode. Get rid of the internode and do this into 3s also. So with this, I also have 3 monsteras, wide leaf, beautiful monstera Adansonii. And yeah, so I realized how narrow the tip of this is, so only a few can go in here. So I'm going to take from my jar this is too thick of a stem. I'm gonna just take this one right here and I'm gonna stick it inside of this water. And I'm gonna also take this plant right here, making sure to do my best to not break anything that doesn't need any damage done to it, which is all of them. Alright, I got those out. What I'm gonna do is, after this has calloused over for, I would say 30 minutes is a safe amount of time to let your plant wait to callus before you proceed in, you know, inserting it in the water. Okay, so as you can also see, this jar, I'm gonna stick this particular one inside of here, right here, like that. Lovely, 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 love it. These, I'm just gonna stick them right inside of this jar. You can go ahead and just chop the lower leaves off, but I've had luck in actually these not rotting when they're trying to root inside of the water. So I'm going to just leave it. And when I stick this inside of here, just like that. Oh, alright, this one could go. Boom, boom. This is a runt leaf, so this lower leaf can just go too. This will just go inside of this jar. And this is done with for this particular little jar. It has a already rooted pothos in there. This particular one can will just go inside of this one right here. So guys, that's pretty much it. It's that simple. I've gone ahead and propagated 2 separate branches, and I've cut 3. Each branch has given me 3 strands for me to propagate. So now when it's time, after these have rooted, I'll have 6 new strands to put inside of my pot to make it even more fuller, or to even have in another pot. One thing I did not do or mention in this video is you can use Super Thrive in your water. I don't, because I've realized that my plant, it lasts without having to use Super Thrive in the water. But if you want to, and if you have, you can use Super Thrive in your water and it wouldn't hurt. I might do this in about a week when I do change out this water. I think I will use some Super Thrive, but for now I'm just using plain lukewarm tap water to propagate my Monstera Adansonii, which is so lovely. I love it. I said I lovely, which is lovely, and it's so happy, and now it's more manicured, so it won't feel so just crazy when I hang it back where it goes in my window. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If it was helpful in any way, subscribe if you aren't already. Join this little cookie family because we're pretty awesome here. And I will see you on the next one. Let's get growing.